It is Sunday, December 17th, 2017. Wrestleview Live 27. We are here to talk WWE Clash of Champions. We are fresh off of a very exciting Crimbus Craptacular. A little hungover, but feeling good. Got plenty of fluids in the system, and we're going to be here for around an hour to talk about the final WWE pay-per-view of 2017, Smackdown's final effort. And I'm going to be joined here. Well, I am joined right now by Doug Lackey. Douglas, how are you? How are you feeling after the Crimbus show?
Well, I'm not hungover. I feel pretty good, except that my sinus infection has now transferred into my lungs.
Ouch.
And so it now makes it a little difficult for me to breathe. So the good news is that you won't be hearing me play any trumpets into Kleenex tonight, but you might hear me cough up like half my lung.
That's okay.
So
that's fine.
Yeah.
You warned me last night about what was going down, so no problems there whatsoever. I should mention that tonight we're going to be broadcasting this part of Dublin FM, I guess. Phoenix FM, I should say. I always confuse that. It's Phoenix FM in Dublin, and that's Dara O'Connor and the crew for the international desk. And they asked, "Hey, can we use your broadcast tonight?" And I said, "Absolutely." So we will be rebroadcasting this show if you are a listener overseas in the Dublin, Ireland, on Phoenix FM, so we can say hello to all of those people. So thank you for the opportunity for us to talk men in stretchy pants. So before we get to that, Douglas, we need to talk about one of our new sponsors, and we talked about this last night on the podcast, and that is a wonderful beef jerky / gourmet / there's a term that I'm trying to come up with. I'm going to say glazed gourmet jerky bites. Does that sound good to you? I think I'm going to use that.
Glazed gourmet jerky bites.
Yes.
Usually 4 adjectives is about as far as you want to go.
Probably, but that's a little bit. So it's a handful, or a mouthful. But we want that to be a mouthful because these things are delicious. It's Prairie Smoked Meats, and you can find the website at prairiesmokedmeats.com. And they've graciously offered to sponsor our wonderful podcast, and they're offering a discount code using the term Wrestleview. So if you're interested and you'd like to buy some, they have 2 different flavors right now: honey bourbon sriracha, which is paired with a Sierra whiskey sauce called honey bourbon sriracha, hence the name, and blackberry chipotle. That's my favorite. That's the one I want to go after. And they're also doing it's called a holiday gift pack, and you get the jerky, you get some Chex Mix, some almonds, and then a bottle of Sierra whiskey sauce. Or you can just order them individually. But either one you decide, if you want to get the individual jars or the holiday gift pack, you can use the discount code Wrestleview, and you'll get, I think it's 25% off if that's the case. I know Dave Barry just mentioned to me earlier tonight that he decided to get the holiday gift pack. So that was cool that he checked that out. But I would sample some right now if I had some, but I ate it all last night because it's so good. But yeah, this is some cool stuff, and it's really, really good, and it's a good alternative if you don't want to have like cookies or chips or something, and you're trying to watch the old figure around the holiday season. But website is prairiesmokedmeats.com. I'm browsing it right now, and you can get an idea of kind of what you're going to get, and it's very cheap. It's not expensive, and you get the discount code if you use Wrestleview. So I'll toss that up there again, prairiesmokedmeats.com. And it's good stuff, Douglas. So I'm going to be sending Doug a cute little care package, and so maybe the next time we do a show, you can be kind of chomping down on some of these jerky bites.
Well, it's that, and I definitely want to try out that honey whiskey sauce.
Yes,
I definitely want to check that out.
It's real good because the difference is, like, I'm used to having jerky where it's just kind of dry and it's in like a bag or something. And this stuff is glazed, so it you can taste the smoked meat, but it has like a glaze on it, so it just kind of has a little extra flavor. It's jerky I've never really had before, so
nice.
Got approached by a friend around here who started this up, and he was gracious enough to bring it to the podcast. So wanted to mention that here as we get started. So as we get rolling here, dual broadcast here on YouTube and on Phoenix FM in Dublin. We are going to talk about Clash of Champions, the final WWE pay-per-view. I think this is the last wrestling pay-per-view of the year between all the big companies, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so, yeah. Yeah, it is.
So there was kind of, I know the last Raw show, the last Raw pay-per-view we covered, there was like going to be a giant gap between the next Raw branded show and then like, because the next pay-per-view is not until January, which is the Royal Rumble. So there's going to be quite a gap here. And I know that happens with the holidays and stuff coming up, but probably the next big show is going to be Wrestle Kingdom, which is the big Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega match.
Yeah.
So that'll be something to look forward to in a few weeks, but yeah, we're going to have a big gap in WWE pay-per-views. And I don't know if tonight there was probably a little bit of a lack of buzz, with the show. By the way, I want to mention too, Doug, last night as we get this going, we were accepting donations for Camp Promise. We're going to continue to take donations on the podcast here tonight. If you missed last night or still wanted to donate, so go to wrestleview.com/donate and your donation will pop up on the screen as we're talking about the pay-per-view tonight, if you so incline.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there was kind of, I remember when we were promoting our Christmas show last night and people were like, oh, there's a WWE pay-per-view tonight. And I know that there's kind of, I don't know, like little lack of buzz tonight. And I know if it's just because we've had 18, 19 shows this year, a lot of brand only shows. There was some interesting stuff that they've been doing storyline wise on SmackDown, but I don't know if a lot of people were super, super pumped for this show tonight. The one match that I'm dying to talk about is not the main event, but we'll talk about the main event. I really want to start with what they did tonight with Shane McMahon, Daniel Bryan, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Randy Orton, and Shinsuke Nakamura. I love this stuff. What they're doing, they've been teasing this dissension between Shane and Daniel Bryan, and Shane wanting to do everything in his power to get rid of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and then Daniel Bryan stepping in. And, you know, Hayden Barker just said in the chat that it looks like they're hinting at Shane versus Daniel Bryan could maybe take place at WrestleMania. Obviously they'd have to jump through a lot of hoops to get Daniel cleared, because he still has yet to be officially, he's been cleared by some doctors, but not WWE doctors. So they were not anxious to try and get him back in the ring. But you got to think maybe something's happening, Doug, if they're going to hint at, and maybe this is just their only plan is for this to be a storyline and maybe not get physical, but Daniel was getting kind of physical tonight. I mean, he was, he wasn't like taking crazy superplex bumps off the top rope, but he was still in there, doing physical things, and they're hinting at problems between him and Shane. I loved Shane refusing to count the pinfall for Sami Zayn, and then Daniel immediately going to the quick count, and all the arguing on commentary between Corey Graves and Byron Saxton. But seems like they're teasing something between Daniel and Shane, and I don't know. Do you think is it a stretch to say that we're going to get a match between these guys, or is that just that's too early to even be thinking about that?
That's a really tough question, just because I really don't think it's too early to think about that, while at the same time, you know me, when it comes to these things, I really tread lightly on these kinds of waters, because it's so rife with gossip and so rife with rumor. And you know me, I'm the hard, cantankerous journalist type, to where I will not believe anything until I have enough sources to convince me that it's true. But when it comes to thinking about a Shane Daniel Bryan match at WrestleMania, part of me doesn't want to believe it, just because, kind of how stubborn doctors' staff is with the WWE and wanting to clear Daniel Bryan. And, that's kind of been the MO with the Daniel Bryan character, when at the same time, not just his activities that were in this match, and activities just taking, falling over Shane's back is all he really did.
Yeah.
But he's really taken an active role in WWE programming with these Divas shows and the Total Bellas shows. And so I have a feeling that his activity on those shows are going to intertwine with him getting back and getting cleared to be back in the ring. It's going to take a while for that to happen, for us to actually see that. But I have a feeling that that is something that the information of him actually being cleared either has already happened or is going to be happening very soon.
Sure.
But they will not reveal it until he is on one of those stupid little shows and not on actual WWE programming. Okay. So I could definitely see a Shane Daniel Bryan match happening. It's just how long can they carry on the stress?
Sure.
How long can they carry on the tension into WrestleMania? We're talking a good 4 months right here. Okay. I love a good long program just as much as the next guy, but when it takes 4 months on top of the stress we're seeing now of maybe about 3 or 4 weeks with this, so it's going to take 5 months until we actually get a match involving the stress and tension of this potential program.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if people have the patience for that. I don't know if WWE writing is creative enough to keep us on the edge of our seats wondering if that's going to happen or not. But, I'm for it. Sounds fun to me. I mean, if we're getting a Daniel Bryan, Shane McMahon match at WrestleMania on one side, and on the other side, we're getting the potential Triple H Kurt Angle match. I mean, yeah, why not? Let's just have 2 of the 10 matches that would be on the WrestleMania card involving people that do not perform on a daily basis and also, are just, luxurious acts.
Okay.
You could go and put it, they're luxury acts. And also, it's just really weird to me. It's really weird to think about. And I'm trying my hardest to talk myself out of it. But yeah, I kind of see it happening, to tell you the truth. I just hope that Daniel Bryan's not falling off any cages or anything like that. That's all.
Yeah, I definitely see your point on that. And I liked the take you had about relating this to Total Divas and what's the just Bellas or what's
Total Bellas?
Total Bellas, yeah. So there's some discussion in the chat about how they've kind of cultivated Daniel through that show. Shiftygism said, Total Divas has actually helped build the Daniel Bryan brand quite a bit, and people getting to know him a little bit more beyond just the retirement phase of his career. It's that you're dead on. I mean, a lot of stuff they do on that show is a built up thing to be part of that, because that's a whole other. It's like this whole other universe they've created where it's like my wife hates wrestling and never misses an episode of Total Divas and Total Bellas. So there's like a whole new universe of fans almost that they've created with that show. And they've kind of blurred the lines between WWE programming, even though it's always be much far behind by the time it goes on the air. But that's a definite possibility. They could be doing some stuff there with that and kind of teasing, hey, is he ready to get back into the ring? And is this thing really going to happen? And this could be really dangerous. And so it's a very good point you made there about what they could be doing. But either way, I mean, his deal is up later this year. I think October was maybe around the area. And he strikes me as a dude where if the WWE takes a hard pass on putting him back in the ring, he'll say, cool. And then he'll just go, wrestle on the independents or do some stuff in Japan. And he's just a dude that, I mean, if you know anything, I just finished reading his book, and he just, he doesn't live very extravagantly. Obviously, he believes in saving money, and I'm sure he'll, spend money on things that he finds necessary. But he's a dude that I think at this point, if he wanted to, he could retire comfortably between him and his wife and be completely fine for the rest of his life. So any kind of getting back into the ring is a decision that he wants to do, and because he just loves wrestling. So there's going to be I think that's the interesting thing about Daniel Bryan is that if the WWE takes a hard pass, he knows that there's just tons of interest outside of the company that he could do. He could do stuff with Ring of Honor. Considering how long he spent his career there, he could do stuff with New Japan. He could do independent dates across the country. So there's a lot of potential with him outside of this company. I'm sure they would love to make that work because they know that would be obviously very interesting, and maybe people would want to tune in and see that. But I don't know. I'm with you too. It feels a little early, but they've been doing so much hinting and so much build of this on Smackdown for the last month that you're kind of like, I wonder if, kind of like what you said, they already know something and they'll tell us when they're ready, kind of. But
yeah. I have a feeling I got a feeling it's already going to happen. and he's already been cleared and everything. They're just being very good hush-hush about it, and they'll wait to reveal it at the right time. When that time will be, I don't know. And that's probably the most interesting thing about this is, so let's go ahead and throw the hypothetical out there that he has been cleared to get back in the ring. Well, when do they reveal that information? How soon before they have their match? And when are you going to have this match? Do you reveal that? And it has to be to maintain, the tension, the stress, the importance of this feud, this program that they're having. I don't know if this is something that you reveal at Royal Rumble. Is it something you reveal on a random episode of SmackDown? Do you reveal it on the go-home episode going into WrestleMania? And it just happens, There are a lot of options that they have right now. But it would not surprise me if it's already in the books and he's already cleared to go. I just really hope that they kind of take it easy with this one, just because yes, Daniel Bryan, he gets hurt, he's injured, blah, 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 blah. But let's not go too bonkers on let's not make the leash so tight, but let's not also unhook him. Okay. I'm sure he has learned his lessons from how hard he goes in the ring, that he doesn't need to go that hard all the time.
But he even kind of, do you remember when he came back and he still was kind of doing, I wouldn't say, he definitely slowed down, but he was still doing the crazy bumps outside of the ring, the corner drop kicks and the bounce, a lot of the suicide dive stuff. I was like, ugh, I don't know if we should be, let's tone this one down.
Still doing suicide dives, flying headbutts, stuff like that. You don't need to do that all the time.
No.
You're known for a submission move and standing and kicking people in the chest. That's all you got to do. That's it. You don't need to go bonkers. There's nothing else that he needs to prove. Okay. Yeah. He's already got it. So I don't see the necessity of him having to go full tilt like he used to. But the problem is, will he himself know that when he gets back in the ring?
Yeah, that's a good question.
And that's an itch that's really hard to refrain from scratching.
Yeah.
It's really, really difficult. And who knows if he can't refrain from doing it, what would be the reactions from, desk side, from behind desks, and they see that, well, we gave him this match and everything, but he's still a freaking liability. What do we do?
Yeah, that's the other hard thing with him is when they that just reminds me of Dolph Ziggler, how they were like, okay, let's do this, and then concussion. All right, we'll stick with him. Oh, another concussion. It was just, sometimes that just happens, and there's nothing you can do about it. But yeah, that's a very good point too. They may just want to, maybe that's why they decided in the first place to say, hey, I think we'll just we'll calm this one down a little bit. But
yeah.
But I will say though, I like there was a comment on our Facebook group, which is now called Wrestleview Media. We officially made the change, everybody. So join the group, look it up on Facebook if you want to join in on the conversation. That there felt like there was a lack of star power on SmackDown. And I noticed that comment came in during this tag match, which is interesting to me because you had a lot of big stars in that match, especially Shane and Daniel Bryan off to the side. And I don't know if that's a reaction to but like on Raw though, it's not overwhelmingly star packed either. I guess your biggest star on Raw would be Roman Reigns. And then you work down from there and it's kind of a combination of the Shield with Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose and then the rise of Braun Strowman. But who else on Raw is like this major powerhouse? Like it's basically Roman. And then occasionally John Cena will show up on either show, but
what's your definition of a star then?
I guess,
what's your definition of higher echelon superstar in their terms? What is your definition of that? I'd hate to say it, but for God's sakes, how long were people praising Shinsuke Nakamura and he's finally on there? You're saying he's not one of them?
Yeah.
AJ Styles is on the show. Is he not one of them? Is Randy Orton, is he always been one, or has he finally been knocked down a rung? You got the New Day on there. I would think they're a big to-do. They're incredibly popular with all the people who want to have fun and not take everything so seriously. I mean, what is your definition of star power? To say that SmackDown doesn't have the performers to carry itself. I don't get that. And to think that Daniel Bryan is going to be the one to inject quote unquote star power into it. Stop it. Stop it. Okay. Hey, there's no,
and maybe that was
there's
just
star power there.
Maybe it was an offhand comment. I don't know, but I was like, really? Like, I'm looking at the ring, and there's a lot of big stars in the ring.
They're just trying to come up with an excuse not to watch the show.
Maybe
they're trying to come in. That's all they're trying to find is an excuse not to pay attention to SmackDown or not to pay attention to this pay-per-view specifically. Okay,
and it was. I mean,
and that's fine.
Yeah,
there's no problem with that. You could say, hey, SmackDown's just. I don't like watching television on Tuesdays. Okay, no problem. You even don't like DVRing it or watching it at your own leisure? That's fine. No big deal. But you don't have to come up with the reason behind you not watching it is by denigrating everyone who's on it. That's unfair. That's completely unfair.
Yeah, because that's pretty much the biggest from a star power standpoint. I mean, that's the upper echelon of SmackDown right now. So I don't know. I thought that was an interesting comment. I didn't. I was trying to approach that one a little. I was like, I thought I'd bring it to the show. So there we go.
Way to make me angry, you.
Sorry, Douglas. So what'd you think about AJ Styles and Jinder Mahal going 23 long minutes this evening?
Wow, 23 minutes.
Kind of dragged a little bit. It's weird though because like the finish came together really nice. When Jinder was trying to get out of the ring and then AJ brought him back in and put him in the calf crusher, but there was I feel like the Jinder haters are going to use this match and go, see, told you. And I'm like, and I don't know if that, because I feel like they've done enough from a character standpoint to make people dislike Jinder. And they've done that well through promos. They've done that very well with the Singh brothers at ringside being annoying. But I have a feeling we're going to be seeing, and I haven't looked at a lot of feedback yet from the show, but I have a strong indication that they're going to definitely point to this match. And they didn't go with Jinder again. They stuck with AJ as champion. He retained, making Jinder tap out. But they went 23 minutes, and it was slow building to something, but I don't know if it got out of second gear, if that's the best way to describe that main event tonight.
What do you mean, like a double clutched or something? A
little bit. It felt like there was moments where they were trying to create a reaction and the crowd just wasn't giving them the reaction. So they just kind of went back to, okay, let's slow build. But it was like they took what should have been about a 7 to 8 minute slow build and extended it to 15 minutes. And it was just kind of like, okay. I know maybe maybe this was a situation of poorly timing the show because what did they finish about 15 minutes before the top of the third hour? So
oh yeah, they finished well before.
Yeah. Maybe that was the issue. I don't know. But what was your reaction to tonight's main event?
I thought the main event really told a pretty decent story. The commentary was fabulous in constantly reminding us how much Jinder has evolved. In telling us, you never would have thought that Jinder Mahal, of all people, would have this much strategy and would be out-strategizing AJ Styles, focusing on the ribs and blah, 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 blah. It told a great story of how Jinder Mahal is someone you should not count out, is someone that you should always be aware of. But they also alluded to how, he was favoring his leg, even though it was only hit 3 times at the beginning of the match and never focused on again after that until the end. But Jinder always made sure to shake that leg to let you know, and also remind announcers and remind everyone that AJ did that earlier. Yes, the match dragged a little bit, and I think reasons for that for the match dragging a little bit was there were some spots they really didn't need to do. I don't know how many times, you got to shove your shoulder into someone into a corner. I don't know how many times you have to have a counter to a counter to a counter to a counter just to, again, emphasize the fact that you're smart. Okay, you already did that 3 minutes ago. You don't need to do it again. Okay. The match dragged a little bit, but it accomplished what it was supposed to do. Okay. The crowd's reaction to the spots, all of it focusing on AJ hurting and everything, it started losing its flavor, I want to say, after all of the outside of the ring shenanigans. And I think that's the only beef that I have with this match is the sequencing of the match and the spots that were chosen, where they did everything outside of the ring first, instead of having that in the middle of the match or near the end of the match. You're supposed to use that kind of stuff as signs of desperation of some kind. Not, you did all that stuff in the beginning of the match. Well, geez, why haven't you put him away now? What is up with this? It seemed out of sequence to me. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it still kept that focus on AJ's hurt midsection or ribs or whatnot. Did it make AJ look like Super Cena? Maybe, but that's a new complaint that we could try to come up with the next time AJ wins against someone in a 25-minute long match.
Sure.
And another one after that, and another one after that. And we seem to see a pattern of some kind happening here. Okay. But no, I really didn't have a problem with the match in its entirety. I've seen better, but it definitely told the story it was meant to tell.
Mm-hmm. I just, I don't know. I've been a very, very big vocal supporter of Jinder, and his run as champion. Obviously, AJ, I've been a very big supporter of. There was just something about it tonight. I don't know. I wasn't feeling it. I thought the finish came off great. The crowd really, got back into that, but I don't know. It was just kind of.
Well, it was long. It was a long match.
Very long. They gave him a lot of time, maybe too much time. Goose, you brought up in the chat the last 10 days that Jinder has had where he lost to Triple H at a house show in India and then proceeds to lose to AJ. Although a lot of people aren't going to be seeing the house show, but they did put up the footage. And there was a lot of media coverage with the show in India, but I don't know.
Did they show Triple H getting on the microphone and praising Jinder?
No, I don't think. Well, yeah, they did. They actually showed him doing that and dancing, but that was all on YouTube though. But it's not really part of
course, but everyone bitching that Jinder has now been buried. They didn't see that at all, did they?
I don't think so, as far as I know. But I don't know. It just the Jinder things, because I recall, I think it was it 2-3 weeks ago when Jinder beat the shit out of the Singh brothers, and everyone's like, "Oh, well, that's it for the Singh brothers," and they were back out there again today. So I don't know. Everyone was like, they're cutting ties. They're getting rid of the Singh brothers. They're done with this Jinder thing. And I don't think they're done with it. I think they just,
no, not at all.
Doesn't seem like it at all. They're just going to be, the thing is, this is the one thing I feel like a lot of wrestling fans, it just completely goes over their head. It's good when guys like Jinder get a spot like this, because while he may not be champion the entire time, he at least creates a character or an aura or a spot on the card, so that you need good heel acts and you need good babyface acts. And to me, they lost a good babyface act in Sami Zayn, but they gained a really good heel one with Jinder. And I don't know why wrestling fans, they all want everyone to just be like Kenny Omega having 7-star matches and being cool and having toothpick. You got to have different characters. You got to have different protagonists, and it's strange to me how that gets lost on someone that watches wrestling for a long time. You need characters like Jinder, and think about our attitude towards Jinder even 4 or 5 months ago. He was doing stuff with Rusev and Big Show, and we were like, why is this guy back here? Why did he get a contract again? And now look at what they've done with him. And yes, he's not the champion anymore. Yes, he lost to Triple H in India. Yes, he lost to... Can you imagine if he beat AJ Styles tonight, what the reaction would have been? And so it's like they're not going back to the WWE champion Jinder, but they at least did something with him to create something for him on the card. For something for him to do.
A foundation has been established.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's a wonderful way to put it.
A foundation has been laid for Jinder Mahal to be I don't want to use the word worthy, but I mean, something has been established now to where he is a legitimate part of this television show. Okay, television show people. He's a performer. He's playing a character. These are all characters that they're trying to convince you are important to pay attention to and to be a part of the storylines that they're in. Okay, this is not all of your other federations to where the only story you need to know is there's a stupid piece of fabric that they're going after. Okay, that you can't keep people enthused for that long. Why do you think so many people really stop watching football for so long? It gets boring. You got to have characters. You got to have emotion. That's why we have all these damn talk shows talking about how people were feeling when they, rammed their head into someone's chest. Okay, that's what wrestling is about. Okay, it's about the emotions. It's about the characters. It's about performing and acting. Okay, and the way that these characters are important is by the programs that they put them in. Do they perform well in the position that they're placed in? Okay. Mm-hmm. Jinder has been nothing but phenomenal ever since his return. He has done a great job. Okay. He could have easily fallen off the face of this planet and been ejected. Okay. Never seen him again. And that would have been done a long time ago. That would have been done in this year's WrestleMania. Okay. Where him and Mojo Rawley were the last two in the little Andre the Giant Royal. He was one of the final two. Did you ever wonder why he was there in the final two? Yeah. There had to have been a reason. Okay.
Yeah.
It could not have been because they couldn't think of anyone else to pair up with Mojo to make him look good to win the trophy. No, it was to get these two on steady footing, to get these two built up and to give them a foundation on the television programs that they're on. One of them has done a phenomenal job in it. The other one is going through his very first swerve and was not on the main show tonight.
Yep.
Okay. So take that for what you will. Okay. But I'm completely kind of insulted that anyone thinks that Jinder is now knocked down a rung. Or, I love the term buried because it's so overused.
Well,
I like how people just use wrestling terminology because they think that's what it is and it makes them feel smart and everything. Maybe. When none of this terminology is ever used, ever. Makes no sense.
I just feel like people just need to chill out a little bit. Just let it run. I mean, we haven't even had a full year of his character in the way that it's being presented now. So let's slow that roll. What did you think? So we're talking about people being like, buried and this guy should have won. So
in the doghouse, yeah.
Dolph Ziggler has traditionally been that guy for the last 2 years. Just a guy doing stuff. And they brought him back where he was mocking people for having too much of a focus on their entrance and their catchphrases and what they say out loud and what they put on T-shirts. And so he was, making fun of people. And now he's the United States champion. And when I was watching, I was like, okay, I'll go with this because I don't think now's the time for Bobby Roode.
No.
Clearly, Baron Corbin, they're a little mixed on right now. And I heard this story, and I don't know if that's a reaction to what's going on with Baron, but something about him speaking up about CTE with a big meeting with talent and people not liking how, because he used to be a football player. So I don't think he appreciated some of the stuff the doctor was saying. Got a little lippy with him, and he was doing this in front of the entire talent roster and management and everything. And I noticed as soon as that happened, there was kind of no more briefcase. But then he did win the United States title, but now there's positives and negatives with Baron Corbin. And I hesitate to get into that. Oh, he's being buried, Doug, because of what he said in a meeting. Because if that was the case, they would have never given him the United States Championship in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
But there's moments when I watch him, like when he lost tonight and they interviewed him backstage, and I'm just like, wow, that doesn't feel real. He's like, yeah, I'm mad, Doug, and I'm going to throw a chair and I'm going to get my belt back. And it's just like, there's moments where I look at him, I'm like, yeah, I could buy this. And then when he does stuff like that, I'm like, oof, I don't know. I don't know about this dude, but too soon for Bobby Roode. I think this is, I feel I don't know if I'm being tricked when I say this, but I like the Dolph Ziggler move, but I feel like maybe I'm being naive a little bit and thinking this is going to lead to something, or maybe it doesn't have to lead to anything with him because he's just been a guy doing stuff. But I don't know. I kind of like cocky asshole Dolph Ziggler. I don't know if you saw the promo last week where he was like, "Yeah, Baron, I had a briefcase once too, and I cashed mine in successfully though, unlike you." And then he looks over at Bobby Roode and he's like, "And I've been here for a long time, and you kind of just got here, bud." So it's kind of like I've already been to the party many times, character guy. Yeah, I kind of like that, but I don't know. Maybe I'm being naive with Dolph because they've done so many start and stops with this guy.
Dolph to me seems like Old Faithful right now.
Yes, that's a good way to put it.
That's what he seems like right now. I mean, if you want someone to, if you want to press a reset button in the mid card, you go to Dolph Ziggler. Okay, that's what it seems like to me. The Baron Corbin experiment right now, I can't believe I'm calling it an experiment when he's been on the roster for well over a year. But they need to figure out what to do with this guy, okay, and fast, okay, and they need to help him out somehow, okay. Get him a manager, okay. Get him someone to be a mouthpiece because he is all over the place. There are some times where he is just brilliant behind a microphone. I think he reminds me a little bit of Mark Henry in part that when he is in the unscripted situations, like in a match, but he's within microphone shot, he is fantastic. Okay. His off the cuff, unscripted, no bullet points, just spot on fantastic. Okay. Mm-hmm. But when you do give him a script, oh God.
Yeah, watch out.
It's bad. I mean, he makes Roman Reigns look like Robert De Niro.
And isn't it weird that they're not like, how do they not notice that? Is it them trying to like, let's keep trying, and maybe he'll pick it up after, so much amount of time. But like, how do you watch, like, and that maybe wasn't a pre-tape. It felt like a pre-tape. Maybe they did it live, but like, how do you hear his delivery and go, okay, cool, let's roll with that? Like, I don't.
Well, they're enamored because he is actually physically filling a role that they don't physically have on the roster. Okay. That's a big man. Okay, the only other big men they've got on this show are the Bludgeon Brothers.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. So he has got the comfort of having the role that they really need filled really, really badly. But man, this is who they're stuck with. And the thing is that shocks me is, they could have easily just ejected him, put Luke Harper in his place, and it would be Rowan and Baron Corbin as the Bludgeon Brothers.
Sure.
Okay. It's easily interchangeable. There's going to come to a point to where creative and powers that be look at this roster and look at Baron Corbin and the role that he fills, and they're going to start to kind of look in their periphery and see that they have a Lars Sullivan. Okay. They've got a Killian Dane. Mm-hmm. They have got some guys in the wings that can easily fill his spot and could be way better in any other facet than Baron Corbin is right now. Right? I will take Lars Sullivan over Baron Corbin in a heartbeat.
That's a good point.
Okay. Not just because I've heard maybe 2 or 3 promos from Lars Sullivan, but man, do I love this. He looks like Baron von Underbite from the Venture Brothers. He's got this bottom jaw that shoots out. Looks like an angry bulldog. He's got the perfect look.
He does have a good look.
He has a great look, okay? He could easily replace Corbin. Corbin needs to get his crap together, or else he's going to find himself shipped over to Raw or shipped somewhere else and never be heard from again. Okay, he'll be lucky if he finds some TV time.
He's a dude that feels like he's going to get, and I don't know if they're going to do it again, because they did the last Superstar shakeup after Mania. Was it right after WrestleMania? So they might, he screams of a dude they're going to push to Raw. I don't know. I just feel like he's done all he can do on SmackDown at this point.
If he gets pushed over to Raw, he is in purgatory.
Yeah, that's not going to go.
He is in purgatory, man. He's
go very well.
Overshadowed by so many people on that roster.
Not good. Not good. The other match that seemed to get a lot of people's attention tonight was the tag title match. And
That was fun.
First of all, the way it began with Rusev and how, I mean, that is becoming really popular right now. The Aiden English Rusev and the Rusev Day stuff. And
well, this is the new day.
It is the new day. And it's so fascinating to see the trajectory that Rusev has taken, because obviously, you know, we were such big fans of when he first came in with Lana to, you know, driving the tank at WrestleMania. And there was, you know, there was just the constant saluting and the music, and then eventually that kind of, he got a little lost this year. And after he got hurt, I think the time off kind of helped. And there was still kind of I'm coming to SmackDown and I'm going to go for the WWE Championship. And then that didn't really turn into anything. And all of a sudden he's finding his groove with Aiden English doing the introduction and the singing and the Rusev Day stuff. And I know, I mean, maybe it was a microcosm with the Boston crowd tonight, but like they loved every second of that. I mean, they were singing along and Rusev was smiling, and it's just so entertaining. And it was like the second Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin walked out, it just deflated the room, just completely deflated the room. Those guys are incredibly boring, very talented in the ring, but just so boring to watch as characters. But it was a really good match, and I mean, Chad Gable pulled off some impressive stuff with Big E, and it was interesting too. They had 4 people start in the match right away, so I was kind of thrown off by that. I guess I wasn't expecting that, but I guess that is kind of part of the Fatal 4-Way scheme of things. But I was just expecting, like, you know, 2 people, but then I was like, oh yeah, duh, it's Fatal 4-Way. So
well, it was a new format they were trying.
It was a new format.
They've done Fatal 4-Way tag team matches before and always had 2 people in the ring. Well, this time they shuffled it up and had it with 4 in the ring.
Yep.
And honestly, needs to stay that way.
It's better.
It's so much better. It's so much more chaotic and so much more fun. Way fun, especially. But it's also stupid in a sense that, okay, so you're going to go pin the guy while the other 2 guys, one of them is just standing there staring at you, pinning someone.
Yeah.
Okay, it happened 4 or 5 times. Okay, that's where it's a little stupid. Okay,
it does get a little silly.
It is a little silly, but you know what? I'll take silly anytime. You know, this Rusev Day thing. I know so many are going to say, "Oh, give them the titles! Yes, praise them! All be champions forever! Have them overtake the New Day streak." No, just stop. This is the happy fun time. It's only going to be a happy, fun time. They'll get a title, but they may only keep it for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's
all
fun.
right.
It's fun. I smiled. Yes. I laughed. I mean, that's kind of what they're doing right now. I don't know if I'm ready for a Rusev. I mean, I'd be fine with them taking it off, but I like the Usos. I think the Usos are a great tag team right now. I mean, I sing their praises as much as I possibly can. I mean, they just, those guys they were a solid babyface tag team for many years, and then they were just kind of floundering, and they totally reinvented themselves with this kind of heel approach and with the music and the stuff they do in the ring and the promo work. But it's just interesting to see Rusev and Aiden English all of a sudden just have, like, because I mean, if you think about Aiden English, he was completely lost for a while when they released Simon Gotch, so he had to figure some stuff out too. And this has been a good pairing. It's been good stuff. So I'm totally fine with it. So happy Rusev Day. Everyone seems to enjoy it. So that's the whole point, right?
I always love me some Rusev Day. I love the crowd finishing Aiden English's sentences.
That was pretty funny. I enjoyed that.
Oh, yeah.
Good stuff tonight.
I don't care about any of the women on SmackDown. Can I just go ahead and say that right now?
Yeah, no, go for it. Go for it. Is that a...
I could give a damn about any of these women.
Now, when you say, are you talking the entire women's division on SmackDown or specific people?
I'm talking the entire thing right now.
Okay.
Okay. Because I'm trying to figure out right now why is the division important? What stories are happening right now over there that would make me want to pay attention? Okay. So we have this group, the Riot Squad, come in, which, oh, wow, that's a coinky dink. The same thing's happening on Raw. So that completely negates anything to me that's considered important about them doing anything on SmackDown.
What if that was intentional?
Okay. Whether it's intentional or not, I find pointless. Okay, they're just there. Okay. And what's more is they're just three people that they don't have a foundation set. Okay. They don't have a page that's alongside of them to validate them. Okay. They have to try to make it themselves. And the only way they know how to is, again, just beating people up. But the same thing is being done on another show with a group of three people doing the same thing. And I'm using people to be as open as I can here and not make it so sexist that it's just because they're women. These are three people. Okay.
Yeah.
So that storyline I've just negated. I'm not focusing on that. Charlotte Natalya has happened God knows how many times. Mm-hmm. And it's not any different just because Natalya's wearing a stupid pair of cat ears on her head. They're still talking about family names. She's still smiling like a goof. It's pointless to me. Entirely pointless. And I'm going to name off some names right now. Naomi dances too much. Okay. Dances way too much. I get epileptic seizures when she's out there. Okay. I don't know what the heck their plan is with this women's roster on SmackDown right now, but they need to figure it out quick, because after this program of Charlotte and Natalya, I mean, they have a Miss Money in the Bank, but oh God.
Well, that's kind of what I don't know if that's the problem or the issue, is that you have Carmella kind of sneaking around like a snake with her briefcase. She hinted at cashing in tonight, and then the Riot Squad beat her up. But I feel like it's interesting that you have no interest in either of the three girl groups that have been introduced, because to me that was a reaction to the divisions on both shows being stale.
Oh no, I have a reaction to the Raw one that happened, because number one, that happened first.
True.
Okay.
True.
That happened first, and you have a member of that 3-person team or stable that is established. Okay.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
Okay. This 3-person stable that's on SmackDown has no validity to it whatsoever and looks just like a copycat act. Mm-hmm. I don't see why they're so great. And they haven't really and what's even worse is, and this is I now want to call it the Adam Cole conundrum of commentary teams, is if they're important, why aren't you telling me? Yeah, what is so important about them?
Yeah.
Okay. They came from NXT. All right. Well, what did they do in NXT? If your only thing is that they were in NXT, well, get them away. I don't care. What the hell? I really don't care. Mm-hmm. Okay. They all look annoying to me. Tell them to go away. Okay. If you can't tell me why they're important, then why would I ever think they're important?
No, that's something I didn't really take into account. That Paige was the established one with the two newer girls on Raw, and then SmackDown just has the Riot Squad out of nowhere. They haven't really done a lot. I mean, they've beat
people up, and that's it. That's fine.
Yeah,
but why are they doing it?
And the girls know that they're from NXT, but they're not really sure why they're doing it. It's a little. I'll give you that. It's not been very organized. It's been I would say it's been a better year for the girls. When we had to watch Charlotte versus Sasha Banks for it felt like 6 months, but I don't know. I mean, there was a reason that these new girls were introduced on each show, but maybe Raw's done a better job than SmackDown, and they need to. I think they're aware of it too. I mean, you can only watch Charlotte versus Natalya so much. Although if you didn't see it, Natalya after the match went on this big rant about the WWE universe abandoning her and not caring about her anymore. So,
and really going into character from Total Divas.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And she's incredibly annoying as a person in general. So, I mean, anything she does is going to annoy me. So she's doing a good job, I guess, if that's what the goal is. But, I that's an interesting, it's a valid point, I would say, but, maybe they'll switch things up post-Mania. Maybe they'll get through these next couple months, and then we'll I
totally get why a lot of the opinion that I've been reading about when it comes to the 6 new entrants that we've gotten here, rumoring about a female Royal Rumble.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. That's not happening, everybody. So calm down.
No, that ain't ever happening.
No, there would have to be.
That will never happen.
I feel like people got a little too when they did all the stuff with Charlotte and Sasha Banks, and everyone's like, okay, now we need to start doing. I mean, it's like, nah, let's just calm down a little bit. Let's maybe if you, because I mean, is there 30 girls they could use for the Royal Rumble? I mean, is there 30 women on the main rosters?
Well, not on the main roster, but they can
with
definitely
NXT?
Bring everyone from their stupid little Mae Young tournament. You could bring them in to fill the holes.
But then you're giving people opportunities that probably aren't ready for a match that caliber. I mean, you can. So here's a wonderful example. I've been watching and observing the new girl group on SmackDown: Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, and Sarah Logan. Sarah Logan is a panicky Pete on the mic, stumbles over her words, sloppy in the ring. Liv Morgan, a little better on the mic, but made many noticeable mistakes at least the last 2 weeks. The only one who is even showing any polish between on the promo stuff and in their in-ring stuff is Ruby Riott. Those two girls need some time. You cannot be tossing these girls. Jason's saying maybe do 20 from the main roster, 5 NXT, 5 legends. I would say more emphasis on the legends than anything if you want to kind of play off the past and then mix in the new stuff. But a lot of these NXT girls, man, once they get a main roster opportunity, they turn into panicky Pete's, and it just happens. And that's, I think they expect that. They try to groom them as much as they possibly can at the Performance Center and by having them work NXT shows. But there's just something that happens. They get a little nervous, so it needs some time. So this idea that we need to, rush to get these girls in a Royal Rumble match, it's like, let's calm down a little bit here, everybody. There's not enough yet. It's growing. It's trending towards that as a possibility, but not yet. I don't think we're not. No, I don't.
I'm pretty much. It'll never happen.
I think it's happen. I wouldn't say that. I think at some point it could happen, but I don't know from an interest level if that's we're still getting used to the new presentation where they're not divas anymore. So, well, maybe that's sexist of us to say, Doug, but we'll have to see. This is the first time I think we've talked about every match on the show except for we didn't talk about the Bludgeon Brothers, but it was just them destroying the Breezango pretty quick. But what's your reaction been to the Bludgeon Brothers? Because it's very campy, it's very over the top, it's 100% pro wrestling 1980s tag team approach. But what was your reaction to, like, I don't know, have you seen a lot of the goofy? They're in the forest and What's your reaction?
I've seen the promos leading up to them. I've watched all of their matches. I love it. Shut up. Okay. I'm the one that loved the Ascension. Okay.
You did.
I love campy 80s tag team stuff like this. Okay. And I'm talking, it used to be 8 years ago. I think it was like 8 or 10 years ago. Everyone was harping and complaining that there was no tag team division in all of the WWE. Okay. And but they had tag teams, they had champions, they did stuff, but the only complaints that they had was that there wasn't a division was because, they don't wear the same outfits. They aren't known as a team name. They just aren't a team. They're just two individual wrestlers that went together as a team. You know what? Here you go. You got your tag team division, and you know what? You get the Bludgeon Brothers along with it. Okay. First off, I don't like the outfits. These outfits.
Outfits kind of stink, but
I don't like the outfits, but I'll tell you one thing right now. I love the act. I'll take the act any time. Okay. I feel sorry for the Ascension. Okay. I was really hoping they would have taken off, but then they became a comedy act with with Breezango, and now I see them. They're probably not going to be around for a while, and that's fine. But you know what? I'll take Bludgeon Brothers. I'll see them Usos rapping and everything, and they just kick them in the face. I mean, that's what's going to be happening. We know it's coming, so just enjoy it.
The promo, the early promos, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I got uncomfortable. I was like, ooh, I don't know about this. But as it's gone along, I mean, right now all I've seen is just them coming out and beating the shit out of people. And they beat the shit. I don't know if you remember Colin Delaney from the WWE version of ECW many years ago, but he got beat up last Tuesday. So I'm fine with the, they're basically just going to be rolling them out there, beating up jobbers, and that's fine. That's what we're going to get for a while, and then we'll see where it goes. But I was a little, but it to me the promo presentation was funnier and more entertaining in the ring than it was when they're in a forest holding big,
hammers.
It's just, I mean, it's campy. It's very goofy. But
I love it. I love the campiness of it. But yeah, the promo is a lot better when they're in the ring, I guess.
But if they can do Woken Matt Hardy, I mean, the Bludgeon Brothers, that's the same. I mean, it's campy, but is it because Matt's doing more of an eye wink campy stuff, whereas the Bludgeon Brothers are, I don't know. I feel like there's room for it.
You're supposed to take us seriously.
Yeah. That kind of stuff. I feel like there's room for everything, even if it's not phenomenal at this point. Let's go and check out what the polls were saying. We always do this on our Twitter, and 61% so far are giving the show a thumbs up. I did give the show a thumbs up tonight, Douglas. I did not do my usual thumbs in the middle.
Now, why would you give this show a thumbs up?
It was very straightforward, and they just went match to match, and they had some backstage stuff, but I didn't hate it. Like I know Jason said it felt like a glorified episode of Smackdown, and he wasn't wrong. I mean, it did feel like an episode of Smackdown with an extra hour. But there wasn't much about the show that I was like, oh, that sucked. Oh, I was like, okay, yeah. Like when Ziggler won, I was like, oh, cool, he won. When the tag match happened with the Usos, I was like, oh, that was fun. I even didn't totally hate the lumberjack stuff with Charlotte and Natalya. The Bludgeon Brothers doing the squash. I loved the Shane Daniel Bryan stuff tonight, and the main event, wasn't phenomenal, no pun intended, but it was fine. I didn't hate the show. I gave it a thumbs up.
I give it a thumbs down.
You gave it a thumbs down. Not a fan tonight.
No, not at all. Just because
do tell.
There wasn't really a match, even though you had the fatal 4-way tag match, which was really intriguing from a logistical perspective. There have been better Uso matches that I could watch that were better than that one. Okay. When it comes to, dear God, am I really going to think of a U.S. title match that was better than that one? No, because there are plenty of them that were better than that triple threat. The only reason I can think of to watch this show would be the whole Shane McMahon, Daniel Bryan drama. But the problem is I would rather read about that and see highlights about that rather than in a match, because the match was not about the action that was really happening in the ring. It was more about, hey, why aren't you counting that guy properly? Hey, why didn't you do your job? Why aren't you doing your job? It wasn't about, someone did a high spot and you should have seen it because that was the focal point of the match. Okay, there wasn't. I guess that's the biggest thing that got me about that match in particular was it was really all fluff and there was no action at all.
But that was the reason why the match even existed in the first place, because Shane's been trying to fire these guys, and Daniel Bryan's saying, well, hold on a second, we can't just go around firing people just because you don't like them. And yeah, I agree. It took away from the match, but that's kind of why the match existed in the first place.
Right.
I mean,
I'm not downplaying why there shouldn't have been a match.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just saying
the approach, maybe.
There was the approach, but also there was not a lot of stuff going on to keep me at the edge of my seat with it.
Yeah, it wasn't like a mat. Like, okay, like you always say, was this something you would go back and watch? Absolutely not.
Right.
But it furthered the Daniel Bryan having a problem with Shane stuff. So I'm totally fine with it. But
right. And I just give it a thumbs down just because, again, there's nothing that stands out about this show that makes me want to see it.
Jason also did something different too, where he asked for what people thought was match of the night, which I might start doing because I kind of like that. So far, wow, really? AJ Styles, Jinder Mahal got match of the night. No way.
Well, of course, because AJ Styles was in it and he won.
No
so there you
go. In second right now was the U.S. title triple threat, and then other is third. The match go figure. The match I've said the tag match with the two referees was my favorite match of the night, and that's dead last right now, but not by much. But that's well, that's what you get when you do polls. You never know what's going to happen. But
so does this mean that with Styles Mahal going 23 to 25 minutes long?
Yeah.
Does this mean that Meltzer immediately gives this like 642 stars or something?
I don't know. Maybe he might. I don't know. He's probably already got 8 polished off for Jericho and Kenny Omega in a few weeks. So I loved that Jericho said that in his promo. He's like, it's not about the star ratings, because he knows that this is going to be, everyone's
absolutely
dusting off the stars to get that. So you gave it a thumbs down. We're going to wrap up the show, by the way, because we're doing the simulcast with Phoenix FM. So we'll say goodbye to those people listening on Phoenix FM, and thank you for tuning in and listening to Doug and myself talk about the final pay-per-view of 2017. I guess I didn't dislike. I mean, when you say thumbs down, you weren't like this was a terrible show, right? You were just saying,
no, I'm not. I'm just not. I'm just saying, it was a show.
It was a show. It happened. It was the final.
It was a show. It happened. You'll never hear me go, "Oh God, this is the worst pay-per-view ever."
Oh, I know. You're not.
I'm not going to watch this again until tomorrow.
You son of a bitch. Yeah, none of that stuff.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm just saying, no, it was a show, and it's probably the last time I'm going to see it.
A couple things I wanted to follow up on before we get the hell out of here. Last night, we looked at the Just Incredible situation.
Oh, yeah.
Where he showed up to a show completely smashed and got into the ring. And it was a show in Connecticut. And he issued a video earlier today apologizing and basically saying, I screwed up, I made a mistake, and he has contacted Diamond Dallas Page and is now about to go on a DDP journey, most likely with kind of what Jake Roberts and Scott Hall did. So,
since when did DDP become like all of pro wrestling's AA sponsor?
He's just really good at convincing these guys to so there's one aspect of this. I was watching the video. I won't play the video. You can watch it on WrestleView, but I guess Justin got on the phone with X-Pac and was talking about killing himself or wanting to kill himself. And it gets to that point where I think Diamond Dallas Page has had enough experience where he helped Jake Roberts, who was in a similar situation. Scott Hall was also in another situation like that. And he's just good at he was in the industry. He knows what they go through, the hardships. So he's going to get some help, but he definitely needs some help. It's not going well. So I hope that turns out well for Just Incredible. And then the other thing, too, I don't know if you saw this tonight. This actually got announced when the pay-per-view was taking place, but they've booked Matt Hardy versus Bray Wyatt for those 205 live events. They're doing 3 events in the Northeast in January, so tickets must not be moving too quickly there, Douglas.
I guess not.
I guess not. So you're going to get the Woken Matt Hardy versus Scary Bray Wyatt if you go to a all cruiserweight show. So I'm curious how because you would think the hardcores are going to buy tickets to that show. They probably love Matt Hardy, but it's maybe not so much Bray Wyatt. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what the reactions are, but they're booking very small. It's kind of the conversation we had last night where you were talking about going out, booking small venues instead of booking these giant arenas. So that's kind of what they're doing with these 205 live shows, but there's only 3.
That's really bad when you do those small venues and you still aren't getting enough to profit from it. That's bad.
And I was kind of surprised that I'm sure they see kind of what most reactions are to 205 live. Like, I'm not watching that show. I don't know a lot of people that are watching that show. And then they went, well, let's go ahead and book 3 events, and I know they're booking, small towns, small venues. They're hoping to get the indie crowd essentially, but that crowd is not, that NXT took up that kind of bled into that area, and it's not happening with 205 Live. So yeah, not going well there. They decided they had to go ahead and bring old Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt on the card. So there you go. I wanted to mention that.
Why couldn't you just have Braun Strowman show up and just throw them all into the third row or something?
I would love every second of that, but I don't think the paying customer that wants to see flips is going to be too thrilled to see Braun Strowman walk out. I'd love that, but
I would honestly love that. That is actually, if we're looking for a way to terminate 205 Live, that's how you terminate.
That's how you do it. And there you go. You could definitely do it that way.
You do, and you actually make this more like, okay, the entire cruiserweight division versus Braun Strowman for the life of the cruiserweight division.
I'd watch that. I'd be for all out.
Okay.
205.
Absolutely.
Hayden Barker said, let's book the entire 205 Live roster against Braun Strowman in a Royal Rumble. I'd watch that. That'd be fun.
Oh, God, yes. Are you kidding me?
Torqueman79 says, I will watch Braun and Mark Henry see how far they can toss the cruiserweights. That would be very fun. I would enjoy every second of that. I'm all for it. So, yeah, that was a
show.
That was a show. We did our thing. Sorry, we did 5 hours last night. That was a lot.
We drank a lot of alcohol.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling terrible when I woke up, but definitely a little sluggish.
Some of us are sick.
Yeah. Doug has some sinus and chest problems, and I'm fine. I just, I eased in. I went to the movie theater and got a fancy cushion seat. They have these new fancy recliner cushion seats, and I sat back and I watched a 2.5 hour Star Wars movie, which was good, but that's very long. So I was like, ooh, this is getting too comfortable. I don't want to fall asleep. And
I have yet to watch any of the new Star Wars movies that have come out.
I've enjoyed them, but there's a lot.
I didn't watch the one last year. I didn't watch the one this year.
I think you'd like them. I mean, I don't know how big, I'm not a big Star Wars person. I'm a very casual Star Wars person, but I've enjoyed them.
Well, same here.
So it's entertainment, and I enjoyed it. But it was
last week was kind of a very tiring week for me work wise. I got sick with my sinus infection, and also Monday night, what happened as I was about to go to bed and my girlfriend was on the balcony having a cigarette, our Christmas tree fell down.
Oh no, that's not good.
Fully decorated and everything.
Yikes!
And so we spent most of that night picking it up, cleaning up. And then the next day, while she was at work, I came home to try to redecorate it and also try to stabilize it. Christmas is kind of a big deal with her when it comes to decorating and stuff, where me, just give me a branch and I'll put it on the wall and say that's my Christmas tree.
Yeah, that's not fun. Well, that's a bummer.
And I think the reason I have the sinus infection is because I've been hugging this tree.
Oh, so that's right.
I think that's what might have done it, but I hope allergies. That's not it, because since I got this, my girlfriend was like, do you think it's from the tree? And she had a look on this face like you had just stomped on her puppy.
Is it the tree? Do we have to get rid of it? Yeah, that would be awkward.
To get rid of the tree?
Awkward conversations. No. Okay, no, it's fine. Goosey just chimed in and said this pay-per-view is better than anything we've seen on Monday nights for the past 3 months. So, yeah.
Oh, you said that last week. Shut up.
Goosey just doesn't like Raw. I'm not totally in disagreement with Goosey. Raw can be a chore to watch from time to time. It's not the best show in the entire world right now. I'm looking at the calendar, Douglas. It is, so we have
6 weeks.
Is it 6 weeks till the Rumble? Okay.
6 weeks.
So I will say this, the week of the Rumble on the 22nd, we are going to be doing a live podcast after the Raw 25th anniversary show, because we're going to celebrate 20 years of Wrestleview.com. Believe it or not, this website's been around for 20 years. And it's been exciting. It's been a fun ride. Jason said Wrestle Kingdom 12 I don't know. That's something I need to explore, because Jason's going to be up at like 3:00 in the morning covering Wrestle Kingdom 12 for us, the Jericho Omega match, but Access TV is going to replay it on Friday night. I don't know if you get Access TV.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I get it.
So I don't know. I would like to talk about it. I really only have interest in the Chris Jericho Kenny Omega match. I don't really have a lot of interest in the actual main event, but I'll watch it and get a reaction to it. But I don't know. What do you think about doing a podcast? I would say we would loosely base that off of your schedule and my schedule, so we wouldn't really have like a set date and time. Just kind of do it if we have time. Yeah. But would you have any interest in talking about?
I'll tell you what. Number one, I've never sat and watched any Wrestle Kingdom shows.
Okay.
Ever. I've never watched one. Okay. And for all the junk I hear about them, it sounds like it's a fantastic show. It's better than the Super Bowl or any porn that they've ever watched. So yeah, sure, I'll try it.
Okay. So maybe we'll figure out logistically how we'll get that to work with our
I'm
schedules,
open-minded,
so. Yeah. Okay, we'll make that work. So maybe we'll be back before the 6 weeks, but definitely for sure on the 22nd after the Raw 25th anniversary show, which is going to be a fun show, Doug, because they've booked the old Manhattan Center in New York. It's in, obviously Manhattan. And then they booked the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. So they're going to be doing part of the show at the old Manhattan Center, which is where Raw started, and then the other part at the Barclays. So it's going to be a combination of legends and people going back and forth maybe from both shows, or I don't know. So I think that's going to be a fun show to watch. That's a Raw 100% I'm going to tune in live for. So they got to do something to pique your interest. So we'll talk about that then and celebrate 20 years of Wrestleview. Crazy times.
20 years.
Before also we get out of here, I want to mention our new sponsor, Prairie Smoked Meats. You can find out more information at prairiesmokedmeats.com. And,
meats, noms.
You can buy little individual jars, or you can buy the holiday gift packs. Don't forget to use the discount code Wrestleview, and you will get 25% off your purchase. And tell them we sent you too. I think there's something you can write when you actually check out. So tell them. I mean, they'll kind of know, obviously, by the discount, but it doesn't hurt to add that in there. Say we were watching Wrestleview live. We were watching,
and if you mention the Lackey Club, I think they'll just laugh.
I really want to make a Lackey Club T-shirt. That's like my goal for 2018. Like, I don't know if we're gonna get in trouble if we use the same Bullet Club like font, but I really badly want to make a Lackey Club.
I don't want to use that font. I want to use Comic Sans font.
Okay, we could do that.
Is what I want to do. And instead of a skull face, I want it to be like, just like a Hello Kitty or something.
A Hello Kitty.
Yeah, I just want it to be something that is so not like the Bullet Club shirts, period.
I like it. We need to make that happen for sure. So yeah, let's do that. Let's get a Lackey Club T-shirt. Actually, I have a vendor now that I can use, so we'll make that happen.
Hell yeah, son.
So prairiesmokedmeats.com. We want to thank them for sponsoring the podcast, and head on over there and buy some glazed jerky bites because they're really, really freaking good. And I'll have some for you. The next time we podcast talk, I'll have some, and I want to watch you eat it, and I want to see your reaction to it live. So that'll be fun. Yes. That'll be good times. Goosey, the reason that died was because of Paul wanting to restructure things with us. So we're bringing that back. He just got mad at me from an SEO perspective because it was forwarding to a domain. So we're going to make the t-shirts part of our website now instead of a third-party vendor. But I have a nice little hookup right now. So. Someone's jelly that they aren't making money from an idea. Goosey's just always ready to like pile drive. Well, you guys said that last time. He's just laughing right now because he knows we're dedicating airtime to him. But that's the reason
he just loves it that we're acknowledging him.
Yeah, it was a domain for it. It wasn't a real domain. So
yeah,
we'll make that happen. But Paul will.
I can't blame Paul Nemmer anymore. I finally know what he looks like.
That's right. If you didn't watch the Christmas show and you want to know what Paul Nemmer looks like, he showed up on webcam last night. So we'll leave that as a little teaser to go back and watch that show if you didn't check it out yet. So absolutely. Yeah. All right, we're gonna get the hell out of here. And thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening last night. Thank you for raising a lot of money for us. We appreciate that for Camp Promise. And we'll keep you posted when we want to talk a little Wrestle Kingdom. And then we'll be back on the 22nd of January. So a long break. Obviously, we'll try to fit something in between there and now and then, and celebrate 20 years of Wrestleview and 25 years of Monday Night Raw, and then the Royal Rumble's back.
One more year, we'll drink legally.
That's right. It'll be fun times. All right, everybody, we will talk to you very, very soon. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Bye. Thanks, Doug.